You know what's exhausting? Your brain never shuts up. Not when you're lying in bed. Not when you're driving. Not when you finally have 5 quiet minutes to yourself. Especially not then. If you're watching this, you already know what I'm talking about. That endless mental commentary where every thought spawns 3 more, each one louder, darker, and more urgent than the last. So let's talk about overthinking. Not the cute, I think a lot kind. The kind that turns your mind into a courtroom where you're simultaneously the defendant, the prosecutor, and the worst possible witness. Here's how it usually starts. Something small happens. A text takes a little too long to get a reply. Someone says, "Sure," instead of, "Sounds great." A meeting ends without feedback, and instantly your brain goes, "Interesting. Let's unpack that forever." You're not just thinking about what happened. You're thinking about what it meant, what it could mean, what it definitely means if you assume the worst, and how this one moment fits into a long-term narrative where everything goes wrong. You replay conversations like game footage. What you said, how you said it, that one word you should have swapped, that pause that might have been awkward. You imagine alternate versions where you were smoother, smarter, funnier, less you. And somehow, the version that actually happened is always the worst possible cut. Psychologically, this is called rumination. Your brain believes that if it just thinks long enough, hard enough, from enough angles, it will eventually find certainty, closure, safety. The problem is, overthinking doesn't solve uncertainty. It feeds on it. Every loop convinces your brain that the threat is still active, still unresolved, still worth your full attention at 2:47 a.m. And here's the trap. Overthinking feels productive. It feels like preparation, like you're being responsible, careful, smart. You tell yourself, "I'm just trying to understand," when really, your brain is running threat simulations on repeat. You're not planning. You're bracing. Your mind treats every situation like it's high stakes. Say the wrong thing, relationship ruined. Make the wrong choice, life trajectory altered forever. Miss one signal, you'll regret it for years. So you analyze, and analyze, and analyze. Because if you stop thinking, something bad might slip through. That's the fear driving the whole machine. But notice this. Overthinking doesn't usually show up when things are actually dangerous. It shows up when things are ambiguous. Silence, neutral expressions, open-ended outcomes. Your brain hates ambiguity more than it hates bad news. At least bad news is certain. So it fills in the gaps with worst-case scenarios, just to have something solid to react to. You're not imagining problems because you're dramatic. You're doing it because your brain is trying to protect you from surprise pain. If you expect the worst, it won't hurt as much when it happens. Except it does, because now you've lived the pain 100 times in your head before anything even happened in real life. And the cruel irony? Most of what you overthink never comes true. The person wasn't upset. The pause meant nothing. The text delay had nothing to do with you. But your nervous system doesn't know that. It already went through the emotional experience as if it were real. Stress hormones don't care whether the threat is hypothetical or happening. Your body pays the price either way. Overthinking also has a favorite target: yourself. You dissect your personality like it's a problem to be solved. Am I too much? Not enough? Too quiet? Too intense? Did I come off weird? Do they secretly regret inviting me? You're constantly trying to optimize yourself in real time, as if there's a perfect configuration of you that will finally make everything feel safe. And social media makes this worse. You see people posting confidently, decisively, effortlessly. They seem to move through life without second-guessing every word, so you assume they don't overthink, which must mean something is wrong with you. You don't see their drafts, their deleted messages. They're pacing around the room rehearsing conversations that never happen. Here's something no one tells you. Overthinkers are usually people who are deeply aware, emotionally intelligent, and sensitive to context. You notice patterns, tone shifts, subtle changes. Your brain is good at making connections. The problem isn't that your mind is broken, it's that it's running without brakes. There's a difference between thinking and overthinking. Thinking moves you toward action or understanding. Overthinking keeps you stuck in analysis with no exit. It asks questions that have no answers and demands certainty in a world that doesn't offer it. So if this is you, you're not weak. You're not failing at life. You're not too much in your head because you're flawed. You're someone whose brain learned that vigilance equals safety. At some point, thinking ahead helped you. It kept you prepared. It kept you from getting hurt. It just hasn't learned when to stand down. You don't need to eliminate your thoughts. You need to stop treating every thought like a warning siren. A thought is not a fact. A feeling is not a prophecy. The worst-case scenario your brain presents is not intuition. It's just one possibility your mind latched onto because it's loud. Because here's the truth. Overthinking doesn't mean you care too much. It means you care deeply and don't feel fully safe letting things unfold. And learning to trust uncertainty isn't about becoming careless. It's about realizing that you've survived every unknown so far, including the ones you never saw coming. Your brain doesn't need more answers. It needs reassurance that not knowing is survivable. And it is.